Ame looks like he is level up.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG.LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
N0tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Creeps. Right now, he just has the Ancient Blackjack, and you really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in these team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink Claws as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, I have Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for the age to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY, there with the snowball save, he's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out, Seb goes for the TP, they've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now, Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. Xnova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from N0tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that Xnova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. He sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the matchup back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
Just having all this vision. Xnova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not going to have vision over here. But no, Xnova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wards that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. He's ready to push in, look for the stun on N0tail to hold back the Chen. As the mid-racks are exposed, PSG.LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of racks. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson, he will blink dodge it, but another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY, there's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything, it isn't. PSG.LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Somnus. Seb taken down by Ame. The triple buybacks now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the 3 of them, knocks the back, but Ana gets focused. Seb, he's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Somnus. Now being chased by Thompson, blinks in with the cold snap. The PLR is on top of it. They get Somnus too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Somnus now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already going, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close to Brew is at 25. I mean,
so close.
With that time of split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball, he turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail, FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know if I give a head for this team fight. The LGD are the goal, but no blood take up to 60 seconds. This would be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs it. They give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They fought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy No-Tail's praying for a Roche right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be up. And maybe will dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right? It was up to a 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7. Same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing it with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG.LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X-Blade Mail Call if he finds it, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
It's just all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the smoke, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled.
He's in the trees, they're on the high ground, they've got the vision with the Shiva's covered, Anna's on his way over, they've got the snowball down, there's the counterplay set, jumps in, he's able to find the call onto Challenge, but Challenge already got the BKB out, the Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb posts the BKB, he'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down, no buyback on the axe, and Jerax as well, surrounded by PSG.LGD, the Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
He has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these Force Spirits. On the bottom rune, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding onto that buyback on Jerax. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe
That-
everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting, is it enough to hold OG in the game?
You see No-Tail's already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. So he needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will, as they get upon him. They find his life. 1 minute now without No-Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jerax. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jerax is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split, of course, up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this rack's on the top lane will fall, the melee rack's gone. PSG.LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers, he's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose their top racks, but they won't lose the game. PSG.LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to deward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
Check. Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Step's going to get the set. He's in. The call, the MP, the cannon, but FY's in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. But he's got it up. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis Somnus looking to get involved. Pods the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds. As now FY giving them the vision, but they see him. They've got the doppelganger to jump away from the snowball over to Thompson, the self-fuels. FY trying to buy time for the rest of LGD to come in. Again, up into the air. Arme straight on top of No-Tail. FY will fall. Arme looking towards No-Tail. No-Tail puts the hand of God, but No-Tail beat it down by Arme and Somnus. Chalice gets the primal split off as Anna. He's been left behind in Thompson. He's got to do something incredible in terms of the combo. Can he find the angle? Jerax coming in, keeping Anna alive. Anna with the doppelganger. The deafening blast comes out onto the 2 of them. Anna trying to go in, looking for the kill. Can he find it in time onto X-Nova? He's on top of him, trying to beat him down. Anna again with the doppelganger, now retreating back towards the base. As X-Nova will survive. Jerax back in, the combo, meatball down onto Chalice, but Chalice is so tanky. Pops the Shiva's gone. He's on top of Jerax. Jerax is gone. Anna as well. Can he really fight back against the Somnus? And X-Nova is so low. As the buyback for Jarex comes in, he's healing Anna back up. That buyback could set them up for the kill on X-Nova. The cold snap down onto the charger. They find him. He's out of mana. He's starting to shift into the strike, but he's surrounded. OG, can they find them off? They can. OG are still in the game. Arme buys back immediately, but now it's PSG.LGD's turn to be without two of their supports. Seb's going to be back up in 8 seconds.
Oh my god, that buyback from Jarex onto that shrine, being able to save Ana, but Ana also toying with him with that doppel. He sent the illusion. They thought that was the real one. They actually couldn't finish him off, even though they got the thirst vision of him for a second.
With the level 25 talent on the doppelganger, it's
Look at
really
this.
hard to kill.
Seb.
Yeah.
PSG.LGD's turn to ban. RNG's turn to ban. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. RNG's turn to ban. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. RNG's turn to ban. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. RNG's turn to ban.
Welcome back. We are here for our final series tonight, but I'd argue probably the most exciting series, John. RNG versus PSG.LGD. We're back in the upper bracket. Winner of this will make it to the upper bracket finals, and the loser will go down to the lower bracket round of 1. How excited are you right now, sir?
I'm feeling really excited to see these two teams go up. We've seen a fantastic run coming out from RNG in their group stage. PSG, they dropped one series, but overall, you know, just enough to get in here on the playoffs. So not too much in line, but of course you would want to make it to the finals instead of having to play an additional lower bracket game. We'll see what they do bring out. Interesting to note here, throughout this year, throughout all of 2020, these two teams have played about 10 games against each other, and it has gone 6-4 in favor of LGD. So this is a matchup that does favor LGD by a bit, but RNG has shown up and they've won consecutive series against LGD before. So it's a rather close matchup to face up against, and I have to say I'm a bit surprised. You know, looking at the bans, there's one hero RNG always goes back to that's still in the pool. The Mars of Flywin is still in that pool.
That it is, and I'm pretty sure they're not going to spend much time picking it up if LGD don't do it now. Though I can't really remember LGD running that Mars too much themselves. They tend to prioritize other picks, and usually we'll probably see either the POS 5 or POS 4 come out here. Potentially for their first pick. They are using a lot of reserve time, though, I've got to say. They're really having a think about this one, but okay. There you have it.
Yeah.
They just steal it away from the side of RNG.
Yeah, I can't blame them. We've seen Flywin really do a lot of work on that hero. It's been something RNG has consistently picked for about 4 games in a row. So it's something to fall back to every time. They build their draft around this. I think it was RNG as well, like a few months back in DPL-CBA, that were picking the Mars and Snapfire consistently. So it's just been the backbone of their drafts for a really long time, and well, LGD knows that they picked a lot. They just take it themselves, make it work for them instead.
We'll see if they can make it work, however. RNG, of course, running this Mars so often, know exactly what to do against them, I'm sure. It's going to be a matter of what draft they want to run up against that Mars, and they're going to have to start having to think about it as well for their first pickup now. course, most of the popular picks that are here, especially in the Chinese region, have been banned out. Like, you don't have the DK, you don't have the Ember, you don't have the Quap. You do have the Beastmaster, however. And that's what not to worry about. That Beastmaster Lycan is in the pool right now. And we've seen many teams fall to that kind of draft. I can't actually see RNG not taking it. It must be taken, surely.
Yeah, I think it's a bit surprising you see those heroes slide true. We tend to see that first phase ban a lot. So they're going to have the option for it. They start with a Rubik first. Now, we've seen a lot of big Rubik plays in the previous series. Just so many good spells to steal even from the Mars. That's something LGD will have to be very conscious about. The Pangolier, of course, gives them some great team fight, and it does feel similar to the Game 1 series. I believe there was a draft very similar to this, a very similar opening, so you can probably expect RNG to get that same aggression, get that same tempo as well. LGD, with the Mars, you're going to be a bit hard-pressed here. You don't have a Phoenix to combine with for the simple Arena Egg combination in this case. We'll see what LGD opts for with that great team fight they have.
You know what I love about Rubik into Mars? Is the one problem with Mars is he has all these broken spells, but he can't use them very efficiently because he has a terrible mana pool. Rubik doesn't have that problem. Not only that, but he doesn't have a cast animation. So that spear that you'd love to spam out as that Mars, but you just can't because you can't afford to. The Rubik, it has to do that pretty well, and even the arena we saw last series. Taking that arena can cause quite a bit of confusion because there's no way to tell them apart from just asking, hey, which one's yours? Which one did you drop down first? So, see how this all pans out. Though I do like the fact that LGD do go into the Grimstroke now. Obviously a direct counter towards the Pangolier. Not really much to say about that.
Yeah, I'd say it's a bit worrying picking that into a Rubik. You know, you're potentially giving the Soulbind away there. It's not the hardest spell for Rubik to steal, so that's something LGD will have to watch out for. Still, it's not too surprising in the draft. You won't have the choice for, say, the Ember Spirit down the line that was banned out by RNG, so that basic combination is off the table. But you've got a lot of ways to build around this. Maybe something like the Lena can come out for the double Laguna Blade, just to give yourself that instantaneous burst. Maybe don't even bother. You just go for that control on Pango, and that's all you need a Grimstroke for.
Perhaps. The final ban now being the Lycan from RNG. Spectre, of course, being removed by LGD. Both of those have been fairly popular, especially that Spectre in this region, I've got to say. Came as a real shock to me that Spectre was such a high priority pick in the past few days, but that's the case. Won't be in this game though.
Yeah, I think
RNG.
That Spectre just gives you options towards the late game if you want to stall it out, and a lot of teams just kind of structure like that. We saw it in the past series, like with the Terrorblade, with certain timings you have to head over to PL. So just a really nasty hero to kind of leave there, and I can't blame LGD. It's a very region-specific ban, but it working out as you mentioned. Still, I mean, taking out the Lycan cancels out that great push we were talking about. The Beastmaster still in the pool though. That could be an option for RNG if they want it.
Yeah, but you have to run the this weird support panel with a Rubik, which could put in a bit of an awkward spot. Unless you really like the mid-tier stuff. You have seen a bit of, but for now they're going to go into that Ursa, which kind of deals with the pretty well anyway. If LGD wanted to run something funny with the mid-base master this game, the pickup RNG, we've seen the Ursa up against Mars in laning phase. It can be a bit annoying that you can get speed way too easily as the Ursa. Apart from that, just force that spear out and use some of that power on Mars as well as reducing some of that HP. Never gonna hurt.
Oh yeah, and of course the Ursa is a really strong hero in this meta. The region specifically, I mean China itself, hasn't been going for the Battle Fury build. They have been opting for the older, sometimes the Manta Diffusal, sometimes the Manta Basher, Yasha Basher, SNY, but the faster build-ups, which they do still make work, so I can't fault them for that. I love the pickup from LGD and Risanto. That Shadow Shaman, just giving you control for Ursa, the chain control for Ursa, gives you great push, and the Grimstroke, double Hex, double Shackles. You couldn't ask for more from this kind of combo.
I suppose you could. It's going to be and that Shadow Shaman again. He does occasionally run this hero. It feels like there's a lot of value, and I agree with you. There is a hell of a lot of value in this game for that one. So for pick up now for RNG, I'll still look to potentially still get a position for pick here. So I don't really see a solve that RNG have on their side of the yet.
PSG.LGD.
Can.
Oh, there you go.
Hero. Alright.
It's a solid 5 to have. Decent control. You don't have the hardest lockdown here from RNG, but you've got a good amount of kit, a great amount of team fight coming out with the Pango and Jakiro. You do have decent push now with the Jakiro as well, so you can slowly chip away at those towers. A really nice spread out timing here for RNG, and can play around with these two supports quite nicely. They can have a lot of presence at laning phase, so that's something for LGD to kind of consider as they do close out their drafts here.
Yeah, sure. LGD, they are using a little reserve time for this fourth pickup of the save, but ooh, okay, they're going down the Ricky route. I do like this up against the Ursa. That smoke screen and diffusal does really rule the Ursa altogether, especially if he doesn't get the in-range off in time. And as it stands, I don't see any necessary kind of huge counter picks up against that Pos 1 Ricky either.
No, it's maybe laning against the Pango can be annoying, and down the line that is fairly annoying, but you don't have the hardest lockdown once more. The Ricky might be able to just jump back out every single time. That is a cause of concern now for RNG. It fits into LGD's lineup really nicely as well. You've got great AoE control from the Mars. The Ricky can play on top of that, and there's a lot there for RNG to consider now as they would close out these drafts. Now RNG does have last pick. They can pull a surprise there. Maybe they find a mid pickup that gives them control and damage out onto the Ricky. Options are fairly limited though. A lot of these slippery heroes do tend to not enjoy that smoke screen, and I love the TA ban out from LGD, just taking out that tempo hero. They don't quite have the best of ways to burn through refraction, but there would have been value in that pickup.
Yeah, sure. LGD, a pickup now. What will it be? They are still missing the Somnus hero. I would love to see something like that Somnus Conquer come out this game, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I just feel like it's a great game for it. He could also go down that Void Spirit route, because we've been seeing a lot of that, but no, that's something I haven't seen. The Somnus Zeus is upon us, and that's
yeah, that's a surprise. I think that's pretty good here though. Like, you've got really tight timers here at LGD, very fast. They can start playing the moment they hit 6. The Ricky, we've seen this multiple times.
10 seconds.
You want the defusal, but to build up, maybe you just need 2 rate bands. You're ready to go around lanes, find some kills. So this build up for LGD, really aggressive early on. A lot of potential. They can't afford to lose space though. The moment they drop off, oh yeah.
Not to mention, you do have, according to the Dota law, the father-son combination, right? Because Mars is the son of Scrum. Is he not? Is he not?
Right.
Someone
I forgot that.
Confirm. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I saw that in a Slacks video. I don't know if he did one on Mars. I swear I watched a video by Slacks about this. Those lawgasm videos I'm talking about, John.
I mean, that's not even an orgasm, Mike. That's actual Greek mythology. So yeah, I think that is the case. You are right. I was wondering where you were going with that, but that's a fair point. Nothing can beat that father-son bond. And I mean, RNG to close out with the Invoker. There's no bonding here, Mike. No bonding there.
If RNG can pull off the first game victory up against the literal gods on the side of LGD right now.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's good to see at least Valve taking the, a Greek mythology and throwing it into the game.
Yeah.
Because the good thing is, because now you're respecting the Greek mythology, and then of course, a company like Riot's going to copy it. Obviously, you get my point. It's good for anyway. You get that.
I get you. Still, RNG's closer here, the Invoker. I do want to focus. So many Invokers. And the only player that comes to mind that made that work is Somnus.
Yeah.
Right? That was the only game recently where the Invoker actually looked like a hero. Let's see whether or not you can see that same effect here coming out from RNG. Setsu has a lot on his plate to prove that hero.
That's good.
See how it all panned out, John. It's going to be a fun game number 1, of course, again. Winner of this best of 3 series goes up to the upper bracket finals to verse Ichi Gaming.
Prepare for battle.
Just had a 2-1 victory over the side of SAG, in case you weren't watching. And I think the draft is really nice going into this game. I'm still a bit unsure about that Zeus pick, personally. But then again, it's kind of like up against the Invoker of Setsu. It's going to be very intriguing how this lane matchup works out.
Yeah, it's that's really just straight up Zeus favorite early on. You've got, again, so much more to offer compared to the Invoker. Now, one good thing about this matchup, Mike, you look at Setsu, he doesn't have the persona, so we don't have to deal with that kid, at the least. I think both of us are.
He has standards, John.
He does have those really funky you know what? I had these pauldrons. I sold them for a good amount. Really nice.
You have the what?
The heaven-piercing pauldrons. Those were worth something.
John. I'm living in 2020. What are pauldrons?
You know, the thing that Blizzard likes to really upsize on your characters, the shoulder pads.
What are we?
Pauldrons.
We're just shitting on every other company now.
Hey, you got no. It's literally their design philosophy. It's like, you look at Warcraft, all of their heroes wear pauldrons like they're space marines. You know,
Okay.
it's big and bulky, but that's their design ethos. And look at that, it's pointy, really fitting the name Heaven Piercing pauldrons because they go way up.
I suppose so. I don't particularly like it though.
And
Yeah,
they
it's
sell
like-
good.
Do they
They
really?
sell good. Yeah, I sold mine for a good amount last time when I was trying to get levels. That was years ago. Jeez.
Now you can get yourself some not levels, but you know, if it was recyclable, John, you can get some side shop gold.
Yeah, it's worthwhile.
Just as good, you know.
Just as good. Oh, definitely. That mini game. 'Cause I love being punished, Mike.
I can't believe that, like, because I've played Underlords a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I can't actually believe that side shop is even harder to sort out than the Underlords one. Like, Underlords is not that difficult. The RNG in that side shop is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it's weird because you're not playing against anyone. No, you're playing against yourself, and you just never get the ones you want.
You're playing against your wallet. That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
How much money can you steal from your wallet before it realizes and tells you you're an idiot?
Yeah,
You know,
well,
you don't need that Wind Ranger Arcana. It's going to cost you.
I need it.
Costs you-
I need it.
No, you don't,
What do you
John.
mean? What do you mean? We all need it.
We already got Quap Arcana. That's enough.
It's not
We're
enough.
gonna stop. Yeah. No, we can stop
No.
right there. We don't
No,
need Wind
no.
Ranger one.
No, it's coming, Mike. It's coming, and Wind Ranger support is gonna be back.
Hold 11. Gonna take the outpost away from the side of RNG. Meanwhile, top lane,
30
Flyman.
seconds to battle.
Off the hit there from Chalice. He'll be alright. Just gonna fight over this outpost. Chalice is gonna take it back straight away. September, gonna just maybe give him an auto attack. There you go. He regens that in 1 second. Quite literally, because he has 5 HP regen per second right now. And we move on. The only thing that's happened is they just took outposts off each other and gave them back. LGD gonna take the bottom routes and the top routes. A little contested. Chalice, he does manage to take one. It does cost him a fair amount of HP, but again, he has such high base regen that he just eats a tango and he can just chill out.
Yeah, it's a good start for LGD. Definitely worthwhile in that trade, and they do event drag the support sub. So you've got X Nova to help out the rookie, and this is a combo that does hurt. You have the Ink Swell into the Blink Strike, and that is really potent of a dual lane here from LGD.
That it is. Fly will have to be very, very careful. Of course, he will always have the swashbuckle available to try and get out of that situation. You can always also try and just depend on September to get a lift off and trying to force them back away from Flywood. Of course, in that mid lane, we already talked about it, but Somnus is going to be there up against Setsu. Setsu already trying to dish out the harassment early on. And Somnus did on Arc Lightning, so he won't actually have the Lightning Bolt to throw out quite yet.
Yeah, I think he really just wants to focus on getting those last hits, clearing out the creep wave, and that is probably the simplest way for the Zeus to get that done with a decent amount of harass. Not too much, enough to play with.
Bot lane, Old 11 going to be there with FY. Super will be around on the Jakiro, and of course Monet will be there on that Ursa. Things should be fairly comfortable for Monet, at least for the time being on that Ursa. He usually does have a decently good time every game he's in. Of course, RNG really do enjoy prioritizing that position 1 and ensuring he gets everything he needs. Usually you can kind of rely on Setsu to have a good game on his own, but well, speaking of Setsu, he's a bit low on HP at the moment. Somnus, of course, been harassing out quite nicely with that lightning. But be very, very wary of how much burst damage Somnus can have in the split second.
Yeah, that's really key for the Zeus to try to force this advantage out in the early parts of the laning phase. Once that Zeus at 5, should be able to hold his own, please regen through that harassment zone.
Over. Top lane could be the first blood. Does get the Inkswell off, but it's not going to be enough. He does go down to September.
What is this?
Chalice will just walk his way out of that situation, and RNG, a great start for them.
Yeah, just giving themselves a bit of an injection with that pickoff. You have to be careful with how far forward you are. I mean, LGD, with that combo up top, they do have decent burst, but both of their heroes are fairly squishy. And RNG's, well, Flywind can really cop some hits if he wants to.
Back to that mid lane. Been quite even, but Somnus is really starting to pull ahead here on Zeus. He's got the 3 more last hits, Setsu, but it's to be expected, I suppose, when you have ways of guaranteeing you hit the last hits. Bot lane, however, Super's going to fall quite low on that Shakiro, but he'll salve up. And FY, trying to see if he can get that cancellation on the salve, but he can't, and now Monet is going to chase him down a little bit. Be haunted by this range creep. As courier, guys, you can't forget these couriers like this. He does end up getting one. Super just forgetting that his courier was on the way, and that was all his regen.
It's a really big find from FY. Just slowing down to sustain that you can expect from RNG here, so they're gonna have to play a bit safer. And this combination from LGD is potent. Shackles into Spear. It's really good setup and really straightforward to do so. Just gonna have to watch their positioning for the next few minutes.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna be chased down a little bit here by Super. Yeah, gonna fight over that bottom power rune, which isn't even gonna spawn, and September does take the top one for himself on that Rubik. Still, FY will be chased down a little bit, but he should be okay. Things kind of just return back to normal, although September, he has a haste rune. Somnus, he didn't realize this. He could be in big, big trouble, and the tornado comes through and he does die. They didn't assume that September would rotate back around with that haste rune, but he does, and it does pan out.
That's the really important kill for RNG, just giving Setsu a nice kick to really boost up this lane. He hasn't been lagging too far behind from Somnus. He has been ahead, actually. So this just keeps Invoker even more ahead, and it does help the hero get off to a really good start, which he needs.
Gotta say, like,
Oh.
Fly was really giving over to that Ricky, but mid lane, Setsu, he falls very low as well on Invoker. Somnus wasn't quite able to finish off that job. Setsu will just let him passively regen, but Somnus will have something to say about that.
That should help.
Meanwhile, top lane, Chalice still in a bit of a pickle here. He's got to be very careful about Flywind. Got to really hit hard with that swashbuckle. Chalice should be right for a bit. X be forced to rotate back up towards that top lane, but now he's going to be in trouble. A nice swashbuckling from Flywind. Inkswell may keep him safe, and it barely does, but September will be able to get the final auto attack off and does get the kill. And that's going to make it a 3-0 so far for the side of RNG.
A really solid start with the aggression here for RNG. They're finding key pickoffs across the map. they have been keeping a lot of pressure to that Ricky. You can see Chalice, his last hits have kind of tapered off just a bit. You could say the same for Monet. It's not been an easy lane for either one of these safe laners, but the kills are most definitely on RNG's side.
11. Bot lane getting very, very low as well. FY did hold Monet back with those shackles, and it did allow Old 11 to just juke them out a little bit, but I'm going to say he doesn't really have any regen right now. Courier comes out, doesn't bring any either. And Old 11 looks like he's going to have to make the walk of shame, though. Mid lane, Somna's going to be in trouble. And he does go down once again, and Setsu brings out the Sebs.
Oh yeah, it's again, they've invested heavily on this lane of Setsu, just giving him the good start, not allowing Somnus that same start as well. And this is going to impact Zeus's influence, gonna affect his build-up. He is rushing the Necronomicon, so just looking to work on his net worth advantage with that pickup, just start farming up the jungle due to this slower starting lane.
Setsu's having a great old time on this Invoker. Like, it's gonna be a real concern if this keeps up. Looks like they are gonna go after X-Nova now on that Grimstroke, and he just gets bursted down. That is a 5-0 now. LGD yet to pick up their first kill of the game. They still have a slight worth lead on LGD's side regardless of all these kills happening. Still not going to be feel great, although mid lane now. Setsu getting shackled up, but Somnus waiting for his mana to regen up. Oh, nice path down from Super. Setsu, oh, they missed the lightning bolt. He wants to ulti it, but Setsu's fine. He's got enough HP up now. Oh, it's a big blunder there from LGD, and that even being cancelled off for Somnus. Tornado went from Setsu just on the tail end of that salve, and FY, he's gonna have to walk his way back down to the bot lane now.
Yeah, they TP a lot of supports down mid to help Somnus out, so they are trying to keep this Zeus relatively even. It's just costing them their side lanes, and RNG, they're finding a bit too much early on. They most definitely are building up a solid momentum advantage here, even though it's not a tangible gold advantage. They're starting to find a lot more EXP on their supports, and from this activity, they're forcing LGD to play a lot more defensively with their own supports.
Chalice is really going to have to just hold back on this Ricky as well. He's had such a slow start.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just going to have to keep farming up and at least get those treads up before you start making rotations with your team. Old 11 now hits that level 6 mark on the Mars as well, but action from him. Instead, again, all on Somnus mid lane. September does lift him up. EMP's there as well, and the Rolling Thunder. And the Zeus is just so susceptible to dying like that. If there is enough heroes and enough disable them, it's just not hard for RNG to do that over and over again.
Yeah, they've really found a constant target onto Somnus. They don't want him to be online, and that's pretty important. You're slowing down the Zeus, which means a slower Ags timing down the line, a slower Aether Lens, a slower Kaya. It's not going to have the damage output, and that means Setsu is going to be up and running. He's saving up for his urn. He's almost there. With that urn up and running, he's going to have enough control to really start going to the side lanes and find even bigger targets.
G now grouping up down to that bot lane. FY, Old 11 could be in trouble. EMP's coming through, and he has no mana left. Literally, he is gonna die. Setsu picks up the kill there on the Invoker. Now, thought about going on X-Nova, but it's better of it. Won't actually stick around to try and secure those bottom bounty runes either. They seem to know that Chalice may have rotated down, and well, they're gonna have a look over for Setsu, but they'll have to settle for Super now. Throws out the dual breath, but almost certainly is going to die here. Chalice will be able to get the kill, and that's actually going to be the first kill of the game for LGD.
Ooh, it took them a while.
Omnus, Tornado, connects, September's there as well, though they don't have enough. Somnus is okay. Now Flyman just using that Rolling Thunder to make sure they can't chase anyone down. Arena wasted. There's X-Nova going down as well, and now actually that Mars is falling very, very low. Chalice jumps in after Flyman, but they will disengage and maybe go back in now. September actually stole that lightning bolt as well, so you've got some great damage coming out of this Rubik, and Chalice has to be careful. He gets Ice Path up with the Macropire. He's gonna die.
Oh.
It's really bad already for LGD. As now the tournament, he's going to lose all his mana again, and now the Ice Path just holds him down. That might be the mid tower going down for LGD.
Oh, that's pretty much it gone. They have no way to defend this one unless they want to commit the wards, and FY is already off somewhere else. So that's a really early take here for RNG. 11 minutes in, tier 1 mid gone. They get to invade the jungle, and the space for LGD to farm safely, especially for Somnus, it's just pretty much shrinking out. Your Zeus is going to be very starved with how small the map is growing here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Top lane, Mene's going to take out the T1 tower very easily, and they drop the Serpent Wards down bot. FY trying to at least get a trade going for his team. They should be able to secure that fairly easily, considering nobody's coming down to defend this T1. Just let it go down.
Under attack.
It's at that point now where you kind of expect LGD to group up and start trying to make some big team fights happen. But it's really hard when you don't have that bonus potential from the Zeus there with you. Somnus is just still at level 8 in comparison to Setsu's level 10. In fact, are they roshing? Yeah, they are. 12 minutes in. They have a Mercer, they have a Mordred Mask, so they go for the Roshan.
It's just so tricky for LG to try to even do anything about this. They can't even scout out where the Thunder God's Raptor, just no mana on Somnus to even find that out.
Oh, well that's concerning. He has it now, I guess. F1 gives him the arcane boots, but well, with that Aegis up, of course they don't want to engage at all with RNG, who are looking for blood, and they found Chalice. Cold snap out with the urn as well. Swashbuckle flying through, but there's the tricks, the trade coming in, and he will just blink out of there. LGD will just have to be very, very defensive for a few minutes. 3k worth lead on RNG as well. Just they have all those initial core items up, so they're heroes here on this team.
Yeah, it's surprising to me to see Monet built into the Blink. We haven't seen Blink Ursa in a really long time. Like it's the Abyssal that covers the Blink. But Monet, he just wants to play active. He doesn't want to sit around farming up. He just wants to kill people.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in ages. I can't even. I don't know if I agree with it, but I guess it does kind of open you up to being very, very active. Chalice, trouble, smoke broken. They drop the sentry. They know it must be the Ricky. Can he blink strike out to the creep waving time? No, the cold snap. The tricks of the trade that will help the tornado is going to land perfectly from Setsu, and Chalice is going to die again. This has to be one of the most effective invokers I've seen in the past few weeks of casting, I've got to tell you, John. We've seen so many of these invokers popping up. None of them have been really doing that well, but Setsu, he's having a great game.
Yeah, it's reminding me of Samus's performance on the Invoker last time we saw him. So it's a great reflection from RNG. They really are maximizing this draft well. They've completely taken over this jungle. So you're forcing LGD to play down bot, playing the triangle, which is just not big enough. And there's still so much that they have to clear out. And the biggest farm they have on LGD is on Double-elimination. That's a mark. That doesn't have much. He's rushing the Blink just to get the initiation. That's not going to give them much. It's just going to give them a way to jump into these fights. But there's no follow-up just yet from the rest of these heroes.
What lane? FY, he commits Serpent Ward to try and help clear out the ancient stack that's happened from RNG. Now old 11.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, he just drops the arena there. Luckily for him, September only got the Bulwark, so...
You can steal that? It's a toggle. Huh.
I wasn't aware either, but apparently you can. And well, he doesn't exactly have a shield. No, he does have a shield up if he puts that up. How is that... Wait a minute. Hold on. Is that... So if he actually toggles it on, he does actually... Well, never mind that. He's going to lose it in a second anyway. The haste room is there. Hex rather, and they do get the kill, and now Setsu's going to be chased down. Great dust down from X-Nova. Setsu though proving to be too fast to catch with the Inkswell, but can he be fast enough to outrun the whole team of LGD? Apparently maybe he could. He's still running, trying to sidestep them. Now the spear comes out and he is going to die. It's a great couple pickups there for LGD. And we'll see RNG trying to catch up and help them out, but they just did not make it in time. And I'm not sure if it's too safe for RNG to be around this area right now.
Yeah, it's a bit risky without that Invoker to fall from the team fights.
Okay. It's gonna be, he might just get burst. Shackles out, but the Ice Path does connect, cancelling off the Shackles of FY. Now with the Rolling Thunder there, back onto Somnus. There's the Aegis going down. Somnus out solo and super. He's just on point with his Ice Paths. Now Monet going even further forward. FY has brought back, however. There's that arena coming out, and that Challenge jumps in afterward. Back on the Ursa. Monet will die. Now Super's in trouble as well, and probably will die on the Jakiro. Flyone, however, continues moving forward. Setsu is back. He'll commit the cold snap, and Old 11 will die. And if they can find their fly, it will be a die back on the Shaman.
Scanning.
Make it run for it. Can he make it out? Is this tree line going to be enough? Oh, no. No, they even spill the hex off it. Oh, go FY.
I am honored
to... Every trade for both sides, LGD is going to be happy to just find Monet, punish him for that blink pickup. And, you know, if he had something else, he might have been able to fight longer. But RNG to clean up everyone else. So in the end, they're not going to be too upset. Setsu still finding some key pickups. And they're forcing LGD to just keep trying to fight against them. They're not really getting too much space here to farm. Somnus still has a lot of work to get done. Chalice has a lot of farm to get done, although he is very close to the defusal, so it's a good power spike here for the Riki coming up soon.
Could be very, very dangerous for RNG once that is up and ready to go.
Is under attack. Dire's bottom tower.
See once he has it up, what he can get done with it. Right now, he is really what's keeping LGD from being able to start smoking up and taking fights properly. Of course, Somnus hasn't really caught up either on the Zeus yet. He's still trying to. But I suppose as the Zeus, even without items, you can still be effective just with the pure burst damage you have. Just more about survivability with the Zeus's items.
Yeah, it's I think you would still want a fairly decent timing on the Ags though. That's really a key thing for the Zeus, just to have that added global presence, added utility in terms of defense and offense. Just really a key pickup. So let's see how long it takes for Somnus. His team has been covering for him quite well. Of course, there's also another timer to watch out for. It's BKB timers for RNG, and Monet is rushing to BKB next. So once he has that up, a lot of its magic damage and control simply disappears from Ursa.
It's very true. Chalice is actually going to scan out Flyone now. Thundergod's Wrath comes in. Sentry Ward is down, but he has the defusal there. Still Flyone. He had an Invis room bottled up, so they couldn't actually go after him. And now the Rolling Thunder. They'll try and turn this one around. No, LGD, they'll be fine to just run out of there.
Dire's middle tower.
That is such an unfortunate route for Chalice to have to see when he's got the smoke screen on top of Flyone. Now they're going to try anyway. Defusal, of course, is going to be back up. They'll smoke up on the side of RNG. We're just going to find a way into this team fight. Now, mind you, they don't have the Rolling Thunder up. So this could be the dangerous play to make. Chalice will break the smoke, trying to back them forward. September going to move next to him now. The rest of the team just waiting behind. Flyone trying to loop behind them as well. Goes with the air smoke, but then Soulbind coming out with the Serpent Horns. Now the Soulbind being turned around as well onto that Ursa. This could be bad. They do drop one. Monet's low. He'll also go down as well. And Old 11, he still has the arena up. He hasn't even committed yet. May not get the chance to anytime soon, or maybe he will. He's blinking forward. He just wants any kill he can get. In fact, no, Setsu is going back with September. They're going to go after September first. Now the tricks of the trade is going to reveal Setsu in the tree line. So go back after that Invoker as well. But he might actually kill off Old 11. But Chalice does also get super.
Radiant
Setsu,
has been
well, he'll lose his courier. And suddenly, LGD looks to be the winning team here.
Yeah, they've turned it around. It's down to the fact that they get the Soulbind combination with FY in the past few engagements. The double shackles is too much control to come out onto the Ursa and the Pangolier. You can't afford both of these heroes getting caught out. You really really have to watch your position here as Monet. I mean, I get he has the blink. I get he feels the pressure to jump in. He has no defensive. He has no items. He has blink treads, morbid mask. That's not enough to sustain yourself against that entire lineup.
What is not? You would have actually loved to see that that status resist build from Monet this game. There's so much to say to control you up, but he's gone the exact opposite direction. See if this pays off for RNG. It has been for a bit, but after that last team fight, I'm just not quite sure anymore. Looks like we might see another smoke coming out. LGD grouping up as 4. I'll go for it. Yeah, FY though, he'll just be pushing the bot lane by himself, so it's just a quick kind of kill mission here. The big team fight. Thundergod's Wrath to try and scout out. It'll kind of make it obvious that they are smoked up though, in all fairness. And that'll be it. Everyone's back out of distance. LGD might have to just get back to farming on their side of things.
Yeah, that's just down to use the space to try to grow big. They have managed to tie down that lead that RNG has. It's just that whenever they pull back the farm like this, RNG does the same. You've got the Hammer up and running for Monet, so he only lacks that BKB recipe, which is just about 1,000 gold off. So key timer again for the Brazil though.
Top lane X-Nova. It's gonna go down on the Grimstroke. Nice little easy pick off there for Monet. It's gonna get him a little bit close to that BKB timing. Chalice meanwhile almost has the map style up. Well, he has the Asher up anyway. And they're gonna go for a Roshan play after getting X-Nova. LGD don't seem to have any idea this is happening. Even if they did, they are way too out of range to try and go and contest that Roshan play from the side of RNG. So Aegis and Cheese will be on to Monet now. And they may get back to that point where they feel very comfortable to take those 5v5 engagements.
Yeah, they're going to be pretty set up here with the Aegis and Cheese. Just gives them a lot more leeway as well. LGD, and they've had enough to really burst down these heroes once. I'm not sure if they have enough to burst them twice over, although you are getting fairly good progression on Chalice. He's already got the Yasha up, so his damage is starting to kick in just a bit more. Setsu
could be big trouble. You don't want to lose your highest net worth hero here like this. He's going to go for the TP play. Chalice may have waited a bit too long. The Ghost Walk TP is enough. With that, LGD back to the drawing board for them. We really don't want to wait too long though. Those BKBs are going to be a real problem here for LGD. You've even got the pipe up now as well on Flywood. So Somnus just becomes non-factor on the Zeus. Apart from maybe scouting out for his team and getting a few D wards off. And, you've got another BKB coming as well, by the way, John. Got his own one being worked on right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder for LGD to get that control. They've been depending on just having the shackles and the pretty decent damage coming out from Samus. It's just all mitigated now. They're gonna have to really build up in Chalice.
Why?
Really invest. Oh.
Drops the Serpent Ward there in September. Gets an easy kill for his team. They're gonna try and get them after that mid-swamp tower now. Does get clipped up. The bot T1 of course being forced in by RNG, and it looks like they're just going to try and get a tier 2 for their trouble. No, there'll be TP coming back. They want to try and take the team fight. Monet will show himself first. He gets hexed up straight away. TP's and a rolling thunder being committed by RNG. Of course, LGD will not want to fight into the Aegis of Monet, so they'll just let it go. Back off.
That's a pretty decent shove by forcing the rotations in from RNG is nice enough, so they know where RNG is. They free up some more space on the opposing side of the map, just continuously building up. You really need to just give Chalice room to get his own farm up. Does have the ultimate orb, so the Manta style just missing the recipe. Once that's up and running, you're gonna have a bit more room on the Ricky to jump around, dodge dusts, and just get something done.
Oh, Rena was dropped there by old 11 trying to get himself out of that awkward situation with him. It's Nova, gonna be saved there by FY as well. He'll just blink out after the shackles. playing the good old game of cat and mouse here, RNG and LGD. Got the Manta style now up on Chalice though, so a bit more damage and sustainability is there on the Ricky. Monet taking the front line. Gonna be a bit of damage, and now Chalice just jumps in. He wants the Aegis and he gets it very, very quickly. But now the Rolling Thunder is in onto that Ricky. Chalice is not going to survive this. Setsu just drops the ball on top of him, and now Upper 11 could also be in trouble. Fly was just all over the side of LGD with this Rolling Thunder. Golu just 2 for nothing.
It's a big loss for LGD. That's the BKB from Monet at play. You just don't have the control once he has that up and running, and very good use of that first charge. Straight into the high ground.
Why not? Real confident. MY goes in, Surfboards and Hex, but it's not actually going to catch anyone really, and then I believe the Surfboards were taken. MY, Deafening Blast comes in. He's going to die as well. Somnus is trying to turn this with the Soul Bind and all the magic damage he has, but Setsu will be fine to walk out, and now you've got Serpent Wards there. But he... Wait a... Drop.
I think it was by the tower nearby it, so the wards were just kind of taken out as well, which is, it's fair enough. Like, they were kind of trying to force it in. In the end, LGD does manage to hold on to their high ground. You still have those objectives fairly intact. You're gonna have to try to get
Chalice. Oh, Chalice, you can't die like this. Ice Path was there from Super. He done tricks the trade up. But how do you get out of this? He's trying to blink strike his way out. Now Arena to protect him and just keep everyone else trapped in. Old 11 is going to tank the gank for his teammate. That's all he can do. Chalice on this pause 1 Ricky, he's been making some very aggressive plays on the Ricky, but they really have not been panning out.
Yeah, they've been trying to play aggressive. They've been trying to find pickoffs. Chalice's positioning has been way too aggressive. Like, he has been so far forward a lot of times, just trying to find kills. They're way past the point where the Ricky can solo kill any of these heroes off. Even the supports are going to be a bit tough, especially since they're getting 4 staffs already. Super's just the recipe away. It's time to really just farm up on Ricky, get some items up, and then try to force the big fights with the control you do have with Mars.
Somnus. Setsu, Colt's not going to be there. Somnus. I thought it was trying to make a play onto Setsu, but turned out Setsu was invis the whole time anyway. So now Somnus is dead with no buyback. And that could just be to go high ground. They have the Serpent Wolf back up in 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's, there you go. It's stolen Serpent Wolves.
Easy. Oh, Chalice will jump in. And they just enrages.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Now that top Rax is going to be under siege. It is going to be a slow process here from RNG. They're just going to pot and proc at it.
The alacrity that ranged Necronomicon creep just to get it faster.
Jump in, smoke screen is there, tricks the trade as well with the Arena of Blood, and now the Soul Bind. But how do you follow up here? It looks like you can't. The Chaos Meteor coming in from Setsu. With the Deafening Blast, it's just so much damage. Now Shackles are out on Monet. They'll commit everything they can, but it means nothing. And now Chalice also TP's in. He's going to be in trouble if Flyone wants him dead. He'll TP out. Maybe he gets some temperance super here. Ice Path won't connect. Or rather, Somnus. Gotta be careful, Somnus. He will die to Necro units. They are probably going to get Setsu though. And it will be worth it for LGD to trade away that Zeus for those 2 kills. But they do lose that top lane of barracks, or at least the melee barracks, or the range barracks are currently sitting at 143 HP. So they're on their last legs.
Oh yeah, and RNG, they're still going to be really happy with that trade. They're forcing buybacks out from LGD. Monet is inching closer towards the Abyssal, so you're looking at more control and damage coming out from our Fuzzy Wuzzy. LGD still doesn't have a great build-up here. I mean, Chalice is so far forward once more. Gotta be thankful there's no wards there. But if they find him out in positions like that, he's just an easy kill.
Flyone. Old 11 claims the kill. That's a great kill to take. The net worth lead is sitting around 7k here for RNG. We've got to be very careful to throw that away up against LGD. The game is nowhere near over. So just one barracks has gone down. Even in terms of scalability, you kind of question whether the Ursa Invoker is going to be able to deal with that, you know, that Ricky Mars and against the Zeus.
Radiant's middle
Somnus,
tower is under
his
attack.
game might be over at this point, but he does have another power spike coming once the Axe is up and back. They're going to jump in, but hey, great BKB timing. He will cancel off that Spirit now. Sunstrike, the fly in, and Old 11 gets blown up. Now Setsu going forward, although Chalice going to blink in. There's a support being dropped as well as the Hex. Benet though, he does get exploded, but now is onto FY. It's a triple kill for the Ursa. Chalice will have to make a run for it. That'll be it. Chalice, you're not really thinking about jumping back in, but hey, he'll turn around now. He wants the ultra kill. He might go for the rampage. Chalice, he jumps back in now with the blink strike. They know he's around there. Fly one doesn't seem to be able to find him. It's still a 4-for-0 trade. They literally did not kill off one person from RNG. And of course, RNG will start running down mid.
Yeah, it's going to be really easy for them to start pressuring that high ground. There are no wards to be worried about from the Shadow Shaman. There will be a soul bind, but again, there's just not enough damage follow-up to really even get the kills off with the control you get from that anymore.
11, he just gets blinked on straight away, and Monet does not care. Underneath the T4 towers, that's where that blink comes in handy as well, because you just don't expect the Ursa to have that kind of itemization anymore, right? You keep forgetting that he has a blink up and he can close the gap that quick.
Yeah, and just like that, RNG take the second melee ranks out away from LGD, and along with that tier 3, of course, they leave the range packs. They don't want to overstay their welcome. They're playing it safe. They pull back. They want the Roche, but it's half a minute off. You're not going to have that just yet.
Not quite yet. It'll give time for LGD to try and get in range and set up for the next Roshan fight, because I don't believe they can actually afford to give that next Roche away. That is going to be the third Roche of the game. Korea going down for Monet there. Trying to finish off that Abyssal Blade now, just needing the Vanguard. Setsu. Ooh, my goodness. I was about to ask if he was going to go for that Blind Tornado. He did. It was just a millisecond too late. And now smoke up. Roshan is up at a second. Thunder God's Wrath will get the smoke, but the pings are coming out. They know exactly where they're going. And again, I don't believe LGD can afford to let this go down for free.
Oh no. This is going to be massive. It has the Ags on Monet. That's just going to be ridiculous.
They're not going to make it though. They just can't. Not with the alacrity on Monet. Just amping up that damage, and they might try for a fight. Top 11 gets jumped on straight away. Monet is there. Now the Surfer Wards have also been dropped, but let's just focus on the Ursa, who is going after the Master, does get the kill. Meanwhile, FY gets the Chaos Meteor dropped on top of his head, and he will also die. And Monet, he's looking for another target. Man's still hungry. There's no food.
Yeah, but they've just cornered right through LGD again. With that Serpent Ward drop from FY, they're not going to have that for the defense. There's the Abyssal up and running Monet, so he's got multiple tools to jump in, and it's just so hard to control the Ursa now. I mean, again, Ags upgrade in range and Rage already available because of that Roche. You have no solutions for Monet.
Oh, you thought Monet had enough items? How about a Paladin Sword, John?
Every time. Every time.
Done. Monet looking forward, trying to find another target with that Abyssal. Doesn't quite get one, but September does. He lifts up Sets, rather Somnus, but it is a trade, 1-for-1. September does die, now X-Nova dies, and they call it the GG. Oh, alright, that was it. Climactic ending, but RNG takes the first game really convincingly.
Yeah, that's really bombastic coming out from them. We doubted that Invoker. You know, we said that the only time we saw it work was from Somnus. Well, Setsu
himself No-Tail out on his own.
He's trapped him.
There's No-Tail. Is he going to get any sort of backup? No, there's 3 still dead on OG. It'll be a slow and painful death here for No-Tail as Arme comes in for the kill secure.
And I love the way that Chalice spotted this BKB super early in that fight. He just knows, I just need to get my ulti off. And he casts it at a very safe range. He didn't wait for like last second of his BKB. He's not very greedy. I think that's a lot of the reason why they've been winning these team fights. Seb has been struggling, still about 1,000 gold away from his BKB.
I mean, yeah, this Brewmaster is a display of perfection, really. It's the highest level in the game with his Bloodseekers.
One of the most stable in the game as an offlaner.
Now has Shiva, so even more ways. He's pretty much itemized entirely just to be like, Ana, I'm ruining your game. I've got Radiance, I've got Shivas. You're going to struggle so much in these fights as Phantom Lancer.
Garrett's did his best to keep Ana alive, but Ana wasn't able to do damage because of his rupture. He wasn't that low on HP, but still can't fight around.
Seb.
On his here.
Got to be
Watch
careful
Jerax.
who shows up top. Indeed, Jerax. He's going out on his own. He doesn't expect Arme to have this invis rune. As Arme will show himself, Jerax goes across, but Somnus is there.
Somnus is not messing around rupturing.
No mercy. They're feeling very confident now at this point, getting these very advantageous team fights as well as getting kills on the split push too. Thompson though, we'll find X-Nova.
Seb, and as well. Between the two of them, they'll take down the support edge. FY's going to come in though. He hasn't got anyone else with him at the moment. It is just FY, so
Yes.
just playing around with Seb.
There's no help around at all, and he's still just making Seb's life miserable.
He's just toying with him. He's just making him not be able to come back. Look, they're already starting to rotate this Brewmaster and Bloodseeker too, and FY, he's ready to look for Seb.
Seb's got to get out.
Oh, Seb.
As indeed, FY, the patience, keeping that control on Seb, buying time for Chalice to come in. Ana is going to look towards the Tusk. Chalice is now there, does have Primal Split available if he wants to look to take this fight. Somnus coming in as well. As Ana, Seb look to hide in the trees. Can they get out of it? Ana's got a TP available. He's into the trees. He's going to show himself in the lane though. They're going to continue to head over. They are going to see Seb make it out in time. They don't have a stun. Ana, can he get out as well? He can. OG will avoid that rotation from PSG.LGD.
FY is just so obnoxious there, following Seb for over a minute, just stalking him, trying to have his team come over.
So that's about, a minute without Aegis being used for LGD. They have 2 minutes left, I would say, to capitalize on this Aegis. Oh man, looks like he is level 50.
Pretty much back to a 50-50. PSG.LGD 2-1 up at the moment in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game needed to secure the championship title. And at this point, they are ahead here in game 4.
No-Tail hasn't had time to gather a full army of Ancient Crates. Right now, he just has the Ancient Black Dragon. You really want those other auras when you're at a big disadvantage in these team fights already.
Yeah, it's tough though, because Jerax doesn't want to be following around his Chen, giving him the Aghanim, so. As Thompson, see, he does have a Lincoln Sphere picked up, and they should have the BKB finished on Seb too. So that'll give him a little bit easier time to get those Blink Causos as he's been suffering to do so in the last few fights. And Somnus, full I've Scotty picked up, about to be level 25 as well.
Yeah, they just need a couple more minutes on the side of OG before they're ready to fight. Wait for Aegis to expire.
Seb, he's in, gets the call, the character's going to get FY. There with the snowball save. He's going to be fine, and now they turn to look towards the axe. The taunt's going to be out. Seb goes for the TP. They've got the stun to cancel though. Seb held back for now. Thompson trying to offer his best from the side to provide some sort of safety, as he will get Seb back. They're able to get Seb back to safety, and Thompson, he's running away. X-Nova's there with the wraparound, gets the slow off, gives the vision for the snowball. TP from No-Tail's coming in towards the stride, but Thompson, he's trapped.
That's twice in the series that X-Nova just comes out of nowhere. Like, he's just on a warding expedition, then he just ends up wrapping behind these people constantly.
Perfect time.
Perfect timing, and has the Senton creep to boot. And look at these deep wards that he's placed during that time that he was running around doing so. He now has full vision of OG. Yeah, he sees Ana farming these Ancients right now.
Oh, Ana. FY just giving so much information for the team. He's got eyes on him. Get the punch on the wrong target, but the snowball pass will catch Ana. Ana, he's in trouble. The blood bright silence connects. He's got the man to back up in a second, but can he really play his way out of this one? He cannot. Ana down for a minute and a half.
just having all this vision. And Xnova throughout this whole tournament has had the best vision in every situation, even when you wouldn't expect it. They're just like, oh, they're fighting on the left side. They're not gonna have vision over here. But no, Xnova always seems to have those prepared in every situation.
And he has some incredible foresight to be able to have these wars that just lead to really clutch pickoffs. And Axe has not spent his money on BKB. He has the money, but he might be looking to save for buyback.
We'll see if any of the buybacks do get forced out. Thompson's still dead for 15. Ideally, he doesn't buy back it. They may have to buy back on Ana. He's gone for 50 seconds. The split coming out from Chalice. Is he ready to push in? Look for the stun on N0tail to hold back the Chen. As the mid-racks are exposed, PSG.LGD, 40 minutes in, able to open into the base and clean out this mid lane of Rack. Still Ana holding on to that buyback.
And they're going to keep going here. They really want to force this PL to come back here.
Stun onto Thompson. He will blink dodge it. But another tier 3 tower falling incredibly fast. They really don't want to use it. Seb jumps in, gets the call onto FY. There's the buyback. The Cataclysm isn't enough to do anything. It isn't. PSG.LGD still fighting strong. Thompson getting focused by Saunders. Seb taken down by Arme. The triple buybacks now out as Ana in trouble. He's pulled back for this one. The deafening blast onto the three of them. Knocks the back, but Ana gets focused. Seb! He's in with the call. He has the control onto the morphing Saunders. Now being chased by Thompson. Blinks in with the cold snap. The PL army's on top of it. They get Saunders too. As OG, they have to expend 3 buybacks, but they hold on to the top rack. Saunders now down for 2 minutes. No buyback available on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, he's 400 gold short of it. It's up in about 8 seconds. OG, they have to make so much happen here. They have to push out all their lanes. 2 of the side lanes are already gone, but I think trying to get some kills here, like on FY here, would be very ideal.
I mean, look how close the Brew is at 25. I mean,
So close.
With that primal split cooldown.
Oh, Thompson, he sees it FY. He's used the snowball. He turns with the combo FY with the self-fuels, but OG, they've surrounded him. Seb jumps in with the call, the blade mail. FY's gone.
Instant buyback from FY.
Still that scary, scary time for LGD. 75 seconds without Somnus. OG have the full 5-man pushing in all 3 lanes at the same time as they approach LGD's base.
I don't even know how I get the head up with this team fight. The LGD are for gold, but no blood taken for 60 seconds. This could be disastrous.
He's got a full BKB on Seb as well.
Chalice really wants to hit level 25 before he pops that primal split. So close.
Just got to be careful, Seb. Looking for that blink initiation.
Chalice is stepping back. Grabs, they give him the tome. He needed like 5 experience, and they gave him the tome just to make sure that he gets it anyway. Just playing as safe as possible here.
Looks like OG don't feel that the window is big enough for them to push in whilst this Bloodseeker's still dead. They'll back away.
They can't count. They fought back 3 heroes. They weren't able to get any T3s, and there's no Roshan up yet. Big Daddy N0tail's praying for a Roche right now so they can get that refresher, but it's not going to be up. And maybe we'll dodge a bullet.
At least they got a good amount of economy off that, right? It was up to 15k gold advantage, and they chunked it down to 7, same thing with experience. So they did get quite a lot out of that one, but they ideally wanted to get at least one of those sets of racks to get some momentum pushing it with those 3 buybacks used.
Absolutely, it is this really scary moment of the game now for OG. We're about 5-6 minutes still without those buybacks available. If PSG.LGD can find that one team fight, it could be the team fight to win TI in this window of time that they now have presented to themselves.
Ana's gone full in for that butterfly too. As they pick up also an Aeon disc on Jeremy, so protected in O. DD did spawn, however, was killed in 5.
It's also pretty scary for Maybe right now. He only has a 5-second BKB, and he does a lot of damage and will get wrecked by the X Blade Mail call if he finds it, especially with his BKB now. There's not that many ways to stop him.
So it's all about FY and Chalice, right? Just either saving or just getting into the midst of the fights and not allowing OG to get the picks.
And the spark, it's going to be dispelled.
Let's get dispelled.
He's in the trees, they're on the high ground, they've got the vision with the Shiva's covered, Ana's on his way over. They've got the snowball down, there's the Catapult. Seb jumps in, he's able to find the call onto Chalice, but Chalice already got the BKB out. The Sunstride's going to be down onto FY, but FY will survive. Seb pops the BKB, he'll try and stand his ground, but Seb, he's going to go down. No buyback on the axe. As Jerax as well, surrounded by PSG.LGD. The Eon disc will proc, but they'll fight through it.
He has to buy back immediately.
Look at these creep track by these Force Spirits. On the bottom room, they have no creeps in the mid lane.
Sienna still holding on to that buyback on Jerax. But as Ben said, the creeps aren't here.
It's backdoor. Can they breach through it? It's not looking like it right now. Maybe everyone hitting the same one.
That creep cutting isn't enough to hold OG in the game.
You see No Tails already running to just, he doesn't care. He's going to throw his life for this. He needs to just keep these creeps out of the base to keep that back door up. He doesn't care if he dies.
Which he certainly will. As they get upon him, they find his life. 1 minute now without No Tail and without Seb. Thompson, Anna, and Jerax. The only 3 heroes that can offer their defense during this final minute, this final stand.
Jerax is really trying to hold on to his buyback.
As Chalice split, of course, up once again. They're finishing off this second set of racks. He's got the Cyclone holding Anna up in the skies. As this Rax on the top lane will fall, the melee Rax gone. PSG.LGD playing this carefully. As they'll go down towards the bottom as well. Arme, doppelgangers. He's losing a fair bit of mana into the PL. Still able to shift back into that Morphling if needs be. As OG, they will lose that top Rax, but they won't lose the game. PSG.LGD are playing it safe. They know how close they are to victory, and they will not throw it away.
And they know that the Roche is probably respawning pretty soon, and it actually is up, so that is that refresher shard. They already have pretty much infinite primal splits up anyway, but they feel very confident here.
They weren't able to de-ward that ward in the mid lane, so it looks like they are going for a Roche fake out.
So Anna is on top of X-Nova. The Ghost Seb's going to get a set. Oh, he's in. The call, the MP, the counter, but FY is in. He's able to get the save off in time to keep this man alive. Get it off. Chalice is down. Buyback from X-Nova and Chalice. FY with the Invis. Somnus looking to get involved. Pause the BKB to get over the ice roll. They get on top of Seb. Seb's in trouble. Seb's gone. The axe down once again for 90 seconds.
RNG's
As now
turn to
FY
ban.
giving them the vision, but they see him. With the doppelganger.
PSG.LGD's turn to ban. RNG's turn to ban. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. RNG's turn to ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds
Welcome
remaining.
back. We are here for our second game of this best of 3 between PSG, LGD, and RuHub. It is an OP Donor and John X5. John, welcome back, sir. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. That was a strong showing coming out from RNG in game 1. They managed to give Setsu so much space to just be really impactful on that Invoker. And Monet's build on the Ursa, while not common anymore, shows us why the Ursa used to be played that fast. It's just devastating when you have early blink, close the gap and find those pickoffs. So LGD, they've got to be careful. RNG, they're not afraid to change it up and run these series in a different manner compared to everyone else.
Yep, they will have to be very, very wary of that LGD. I mean, it wasn't even close last game. They fell behind very early on. There seemed to be somewhat of a comeback coming after Charles started joining into these team fights, but it just never translated to anything. Well, ultimately, RNG 1 game away now, those upper bracket finals, and LGD 1 game away from being knocked. We'll see if they can force this over to a game 3, as we are going to have to just wait out 1 more ban from LGD before we can see what's coming in this draft. They'll get rid of the DK again. RNG, do you want the Mars? I mean, it's there. You don't have the Pango to give Flywind this time. You definitely have that easy option of the Mars if that's what you want.
Yeah, and again, even if it was LGD running it against RNG last time, RNG play that hero so well. They do things first. So this is still pretty darn okay. Get great regen coming out, great laning presence, and of course, the team fight that you do bring with the egg, we've seen that be really impactful throughout this day. So safe opening here for RNG. If they wanted to, and if they're allowed to, they could just pick the Mars afterwards.
That is very true. Now, this could force LGD to go down the Mars route themselves again, which it doesn't seem like they want to do. We saw Old 11, he was struggling a little bit there on that Mars. The arenas weren't amazing. Most of the time they used it for escape purposes, never really in forms of initiation. And we'll see that Phoenix coming out. Now you kind of know what's coming next if you don't take it yourself, and they will. LGD will not give Mars away. What do they follow up with though? Alright, you go for the Mirana, which is pretty different to what I'm used to seeing from LGD, but something I like different, John. I think they need it right now.
Yeah. And we have seen this combination out before. The Mars Mirana spear with the arrow is a lot of single target lockdown, and have decent damage coming out here. So there are ways to make this work for LGD. Does kind of free you up for roaming early on as well with the Mirana, if that is something you want to get done. RNG, they won't have access to the Mars because they have forced LGD to pick it up. I think RNG is fine with that. They did it in game 1, they can do it here again. They take the Bane first, so they've got really good lockdown for the Mars, for the Mirana. Just a lot strong with these lanes now, RNG and Phoenix and Bane, of course, doing really well despite of whatever you might bring out for their lane partner. So RNG set themselves up for pretty darn good lanes coming out. And LGD, well, they've kept it fairly open that they've been forced to take the Mars, and it was really not the best showing last time around. Let's see if they can make it really work for them this time.
Find out very soon. They'll get rid of the Lycan now, RNG, and we'll just have to wait 1 more ban out from LGD before we see where they're going with these hiccups. But I'm kind of intrigued that RNG did actually start off with their support duo. Well, actually, unless they're going to run the offlane Phoenix. It's a possibility. We haven't seen much pos for Phoenix in all fairness. It's usually been in that position 5 role, but you're not really going to want to throw the Bane as the pos 4.
Yeah, that's true. And I believe RNG has given Flywind to poor Phoenix a couple of times, so that would fit in. It's something they've done before. If they do want that route, they do have the flexibility for it.
Well, LGD are going to have to think about this 5th ban up now. Been using quite a bit of reserve time just focusing on ban against RNG. It's the main issue here, and they actually get rid of the Ricky this time, which is fair enough. You know, RNG may have run it against them straight after that first game, so LGD just don't want to have to see it, and they'll go with the Ogre now.
I mean, it's a solid support to have, right? It's very tanky. You can trade in lane, pretty all right. You are now looking for a right-click heavy core here for LGD to maximize the ogre. We've seen a lot of voids with that. Maybe you look for something. The Ursa can even fit in there if you wanted to, although RNG pick it up themselves. Monet had a fantastic game last time. I'm sure he can get that done again. He has so many options with how to itemize as well. Whether he wants to go with a more mate build or just go back to the old Blink build, he made it work last time, so he can go either way.
Especially with all this disable that he has coming out from LGD, like, you pop that in Rage and suddenly you don't care anymore about all the spells they're throwing onto you. LGD, they're gonna have another think this time. This time for the 4th pickup here. Should be Chalice's hero coming. I think they might leave Somnus's hero to the last pick in this game, because Somnus really had a tough game like that time around. It's just, the Zeus just did not work out.
Yeah, it's different. It's just the father-son combination, Mike, doesn't pay off for Morrissey's. Unfortunate. Fortunate that the parent-child bonding just doesn't pay off.
20 seconds just about on reserve time, LGD. They need something to deal with this Ursa.
RNG's turn to pick.
Okay. That's one way, right? Because you can just kind of juke around that Ursa quite a bit, and the Weaver does tend to hit pretty hard as well once you've got something like the Deso up.
Yeah. It's
one way to deal with this. So
it's a solid hero here for getting that damage onto the Ursa. Yeah, it benefits pretty all right from the Ogre Magi. You do have a lot more right click that can fly out, although I wouldn't say Weaver's one of those heroes that really needs a lot more attack speed, but it doesn't hurt. And you can itemize in the future for the Ags. We've seen 4 Weavers still go for that, just to have that really a lot of sustain, so there's value there in terms of just going around with that. I love the response from RNG though. Instant puck pick. Yeah, it's hard for the Weaver to run away now. The Dream Coil's in play, the silence is there, you've got the control from the Bane anyway, so there's a lot here the Weaver has to actually be worried about.
Even the Marauder, right? Like, you don't really care so much about that support Marauder, but just having the Dream Coil and being able to lock her down and not allow her to just leap away every time she feels like it be quite devastating here. LGD, they ban out the Legion, and RNG get rid of the TA. RNG, their final pick up, they still appear to either be looking for a position 4 or a position 3. Unless they're running like the offlane Park and they're going to choose something else for Setsu, which they could potentially do as well.
Yeah, it's again fairly open still for RNG. They close out with the Axe. Okay.
Okay. All right. So
interesting.
No opportunity for the Hawk King to come out here. I don't believe. I think all the position 4 spots are filled up for LGD. So I mean, I guess I'm just going to choose a Somnus hero now. What do you give him up against that Park?
It's tricky. You've taken out a lot of the more meta heroes already. They go for the Cancerous Viper. There it is.
You can't really lose the lane with Viper, so
yeah,
just judging by what happened last game, it's like, just make sure we don't lose that mid lane. Don't let Setsu just be Setsu.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that might be enough, as long as Somnus finds what he wants. He will have to play active though. Like, he's gonna have to play with only 11. They're gonna have to find these early pickoffs, make use of that Viper's really early spike. But it's such a fantastic pick. It really makes it hard for the Ursa for one to really just get there and stick his damage out. So lots of value in that last pick for LGD. Overall, a fairly strong draft from both teams. I think LGD's draft is much improved over game 1. I would still have to give an edge towards RNG. They've just played really fantastically, and I think their draft is a bit more straightforward to get executed. Key timing here is Blink for Flywin and Setsu. Whether or not you rush it on the Axe is another thing, but most definitely on Setsu, you're going to need that Blink to really just rip through that backline.
Be an interesting game number 2, of course, LGD. It's going to be very, very, very important for them to be able to win this game out, and RNG want to get a 2-0 victory if they can, and they're night early. See if they can pull this off. I'm quite unsure about Fly1's Axe, I've got to say. That's one thing that kind of is up in the air for me. Axe doesn't feel amazing right now in this current meta. Obviously against the Weaver, it does give you another kind of way of locking him down with that call, but I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's tricky. We've seen Axes fall behind, and that's usually because your late game scaling in terms of reflecting damage back with like a blade mail is just, it's really minimal now because of the continuous nerfs towards that aspect of blade mail. So you would want to play a bit faster. The thing is, the combo you have with the Axe and Phoenix is pretty scary. You get the call, you've got the Sunray on top. I think that's a lot of damage you have to be worried about potentially coming out from RNG.
Oh, for sure. That Sunray is going to hurt a lot. See how it all pans out in September. He's going to be in that position for Phoenix. We'll have Super there on the POS 5 Bane, of course, and he'll probably make his way back up top later on that Bane. To see if he can set up here for maybe a first blood attempt. Maybe they can just get decent harassment. Follow Fly1. Also, they are just going to be able to see bottom boundary runes, and LGD, they don't seem to be interested at all in trying to take an early team fight. Secure the outpost for themselves and get some deep wards down.
30 seconds to battle.
Same will happen down at the bot lane though.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of game 1. They just kind of went back and forth with trading those outposts early on and just kind of avoiding confrontations. It doesn't look like we'll see Monet try to go for a play or Chalice trying to go for a steal, so it should be a fairly even 2-for-2 trade.
Chalice.
Begins.
Be careful, he does Kuchi for the bounty rune. Does he get it?
Ooh.
He does. Okay, so you get a 3-for-1 trade, but how much damage are you going to take for that? More Fire Spirits coming out with the Brain Sap. It's going to be first blood. Chalice, will he survive on 2 HP?
Oh.
He does, but Fly1 knows where he is in September. We'll take the kill. I suppose it would have been great if he survived on 2 HP, but even then, you'd almost rather the reset.
Yeah, it's not quite worthwhile for the bounty rune to trade your +1 like that. It's a good amount of gold and EXP going the way of September very early on, so we'd be a bit weary of that, and that's really just because they were grouping up his tree up top, so Xnova wasn't around to help out. It does cost them just a bit early on.
Monet is gonna have a good old time, it seems, here against Old 11. We talked about this last game as well, but you know, you should have the option to spear Monet away. In fact, he just plants a tree down, almost daring Old 11 to commit the spear, but he doesn't have it. So, couldn't really do anything to try and abuse Monet in that situation. Meanwhile, FY is gonna pull over the creep wave again, just trying to set that equilibrium for his bards. Super, of course, gonna be there to try and contest and deny as many creeps as possible.
It's giving some EXP towards FY, and we tend to see that being prioritized for the Marauders. Just an easy ramp up to a tree before you can really start to see him to maintaining a lane. So probably just the best way to go about it beyond just finding those big creeps in the camps.
Bot lane, Fly1. Take a fair bit of harassment here out of the Chalice. In fact, even the Sakuchi may be up, but he'll salve up. Nova doesn't really have a that from range. Well, Battle Hunger will now come out from Fly1. It's really a lot of dot damage that is there with that Battle Hunger plus the Fire Spirits, especially once you get to that level 3 mark on the Phoenix. Can't really underestimate how much they can do. Poor old Nova's just gonna have to tank all this damage. In fact, Icarus dive now coming out from September. Another Battle Hunger. Fly1 gonna block the way there. Looks like Fly1 just wants to try and set up for the creep skip. Should be able to get away with just fine. Like, Yoga can't do much to slow him down.
Yeah, and this is the beauty of the Axe lane, of course. If you're not set up to punish it, well, it can really just define its own last hit. Chalice isn't hurt too much in terms of farm though. He is pulling ahead just ever slightly in terms of CS.
Flywin's gonna keep going. X-Nova, I'm not sure if it should be that close. They're gonna try and take Flywin out here. Flywin's still trying to get this creep wave before he does go down, but he is gonna die. Chalice just committing to going after that kill. Of course, he's gonna get maybe one creep away here under that Tier 1 tower. Flywin, maybe just going for that skip a bit too early.
Yeah, he overstayed his welcome there, just kind of keeping it a bit close towards that tower, towards the point where Chalice would be comfy enough to go in. He knows he's not going to lose out in the creep wave. September was trying to keep his distance to give that EXP to Flywin. That also costs him as he doesn't really have that backup. And you do see Chalice pull ahead. He's up level 4 ahead of our X. That just means it's going to be a bit harder to apply decent pressure onto the Weaver at this point.
Super top lane could be in trouble, but FY won't bother with the arrow quite yet. We'll just hold out. Of course, that mid lane's the one we haven't really talked about very much. It's going to be Somnus up against Setsu. Setsu is still ahead in terms of CS right now, even considering the matchup. But it seems though, as the levels are going up now, it could get a lot more dangerous here for Somnus.
Has been killed.
So Setsu is still really playing on the edge on that puck.
That's not quite a very easy lane for Setsu to just trade evenly. You are still finding a decent enough start on a Viper, but Setsu's finding a bit too much in puck. They do drag in that Ogre Magic just to poke a bit, but X-Nova can't really do too much against the puck, so it's not going to be as fast of a start for the Viper as you'd expect.
He's still doing better than Somnus, though, that's the thing. You expect the Viper to have a better time. Still bot lane, Flywin. Still trying to creep skip by the Tier 3, but now Fly and X-Nova are going to try and contest this. Flywin. They can't allow him to do this freely on the axe, otherwise he may get out of control. Arrow won't land from FY. Fly will just have to make a run back wherever he's really going. Because he wants to keep creep skipping here, but he just can't. And now Somnus going after Setsu, trying to get a trade here, but he does end up going down. That's really not what you want if you're LGD. You can't afford to have a repeat of one in that mid lane.
No, definitely not. And the Viper, I mean, it's been behind in last hits. Dying off like that isn't great as well. You're just losing out the laning farm. This is giving FY a lane to soak, but that means you've left the axe alone down bot. I mean, Chalice, again, is still finding farm, but Flywin, he's not really slowed down, despite that one death.
No, he is not. And he's dealing with X-Nova as we speak. Radiant's going to come back down though, and there is FY there as well. So they're just going to try to surround this axe again. Arrow being there with a very easy setup with the Fire Blast, still Flywin tanking some of the damage, but here comes Chalice. This should mean Flywin just dies. In fact, nice body blocks out from FY. Just have to commit the call and keep running, but he is definitely going to die. That'll be the second kill now going over to Chalice and that Weaver.
Nice little pick off. It does cost them a lot. Like they had to drag a lot of attention down there, although it does pay off. They free up the lane. Chalice finds a kill. He hits level 6. They slow Flywin down just a tad. They give themselves a bit more room to breed. But that is giving space up top as well. Like Monet, with these supports gone, the Ursa is starting to really just find his own farm at a decent pace as well.
Yeah, they're not really bothering him very much. Like, Old 11 is still top of the CS board on that Mars, but on Super, maybe look to snub Old 11. But there is help around the corner now. You've got FI there. He's still just freely farming though. I'm gonna try and contest a little bit. We are getting close to that stage where we are going to see some ganks just like in that mid lane where Dreamcoil is up, so you can just jump in after the Viper and get a secondary kill now onto Somnus. Somnus just about to hit that level 6 mark, needed one more creep to go down. He doesn't quite get there.
Yeah, it's just been so slow going for Somnus. Setsu just constantly applying that pressure and RNG with the on-point rotations from September to help him out. So the damage coming out from Viper, not quite amazing yet. So does mean that you are looking at another slow start from Somnus.
What's he gonna do though as Viper? Like, you have a bad start as that Viper, and you just it's hard to see him recovering if this keeps up. Like, what is he gonna do?
He's got to find EXP. Not even farm is the issue here. You just want levels up on all of your spells, basically. Once you can invest a bit in that Nether Toxin, it can help your team out in fights. It's really not finding that EXP.
Okay.
Dire's top tower
Rune
is
Spawn
under
Super
attack.
was there trying to cure a power rune. FY. Or he had committed the arrow at the time, so they can't really set up the super, and he'll just walk away from the situation. The brighter side of things, or the side of LGD, Callus still just farming just fine on that Weaver. I could almost say the same for Flywheel on the Axe. They've kind of stopped paying attention to that Axe, and now, well, top lane, they're trying to go after Monet, but he's also just fine. Now, you do have her up, but Monet has the enrage. He is waiting for that perfect moment. They may have to settle for super. They get started. There is going to be spear coming out. They will be just fine. Now super will be getting fairly low on that main. A nice nightmare out. Now the dream coil. They do catch that Mars. Old 11 can't survive and will go down. And X Nova has no choice but to just TP up on that position 5 Ogre.
And I mean, that's a lot of gears for RNG to drag up. It's a very important kill. They're giving away that priority once more on the Ursa to just have that good game. And, well, they have tied up the net worth of Monet and Chalice. So overall, even for Pulse ones, the biggest difference is really down to those mids. There is a sizable gap between Setsu and Somnus, and you are seeing much more successful rotations now from Setsu.
Right, you are. It's kind of what you expect out of the park, but even with that low net worth, he's still making things happen. Mid lane, or rather the top outpost, LGD gonna smoke up and try to swipe that away. They also take their own outpost away, so they're just trying to deny the XP out from RNG. And RNG, they're not really gonna even flinch, they'll just let it happen. Go and rush to try and take the outpost back. So go after the bounties instead. Flywheel does secure both bottom. Chalice won't really be able to contest any further on that Weaver. Just go straight back to farming though. Like, you're having such a great time on that Weaver. There's no real reason to go out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, Chalice is going for the old school Maelstrom into BKB. Just wants the durability, wants the wave clear and farm, and additional damage, which is fair enough. It's interesting to note that Monet is actually going for a more traditional build. Going for the Yasha on the Ursa first, so not the Blink Rush this time, but just wants to give him some more leeway, some more right clicks to come into play here.
I think that's fine though, because you want to build into that quick Abyssal, right? To go after that Weaver this game.
Sure, it's harder to use that blink against a Viper for one as well. Like, you're gonna be vulnerable the moment you blink in, so opting for this build up into BKB, a lot safer for Monet.
Bot lane, so they are going to try and go off to Flywheel again. 11 also going to be there, committing the spear, and we'll set up for a nice easy kill. And Old Left will take it on the Mars. Nice little pick off there from LGD once again. RNG seem pretty relaxed. They may try and just make an easy play onto X Nova, and they will. They'll dive in, try to secure that Ogre. Egg is going to beat head, break that tree line, but do they have detection? X Nova's going to be just fine so far. He'll run around the tree line, and no, they don't have detection.
Ooh, it's a missed opportunity there. That was the egg committed as well. Setsu trying to find FY.
Setsu still trying to go after FY, but can he get it done? Not quite. And the Dream Coil going down for nothing. I guess that is going to mean a couple of minutes where LGD, they may feel even more comfortable in this game. Try and start forcing in some towers here up against RNG.
Yeah, it's a pretty big opening for LGD. They don't have to worry about those big spells. You're not quite at the point where you've got items to really force fights here from RNG as well. They don't really have a big net worth lead, so LGD, they could look to try to apply some pressure if they wished, but looks like they're just going to take this time to keep farming as well.
Why not?
Radiant structures are
Yasha's almost completed there on Monet. The arrow will not connect there from FY. They're going to try and force that bottom tier 1 down. FY.
Radiant's bottom tower
Trying
is under
to
attack.
avoid Flywind, who is just chasing him. He will lead the other way.
Oh, Chalice up top.
Radiant's bottom
Yeah,
tower
he's been
is
beat up. Super does catch him, and Chalice. Dream Coil will be there just in case. Now Old 11 does come in with an arena. Nice space shift out from Setsu, but they will just get some Ember, and now Setsu's been stunned up. He's trying to get out of there. Can he make it though? No, but the poison is out from Somnus. That will be enough.
And it's that point now for Somnus. Level 9, you know, you've got one level in the Nether Toxin, you've got one level in the Viper Strike. His damage shoots up, his durability is pretty decent, but his presence is most certainly felt. So you have to be a bit more cautious here from RNG. You have to respect that the Viper is still in play, and even without too much farm, it can still do a decent amount of work in these fights.
And that's exactly what he's
top tower
doing
is
now.
denied.
So, they want to try and ride this momentum a little bit here with this Viper. You never really want to wait too long with the Viper because he does to drop off pretty darn quick if you do spend too much time just trying to secure a farm. Top lane A does go for the Earthshock old 11 Super. Does get the Nightmare from the Viper, but he has been Viper Strike. They are going to go back in, but Nate just pops the Enrage, however, now turns around because Chalice has showed up. They kill off Super and Monet. He's too far forward. He gets speed up again. We'll see Setsu come in, but he's been stunned up now as well. Max Nova, who'll commit the Dream Coil, but can he get himself out? Not if FY has anything to say about it. He'll ensure he dies. And RNG just one by one going into that team fight. And it did not pay off at all.
They're really not respecting just how much damage LGD can pump out without any major item pickup. It's like, you don't even have the Maelstrom up in Chalice, but he's ready to go. He knows this is the spike for LGD around Somnus, and they've just done it magnificently.
Dire's middle tower is
RNG,
under
they
attack.
need to go back, just try to farm up, to save up. Once you have the BKB on Monet, you're going to be in a better spot. Before that, you're just going to be really vulnerable to this early game draft from LGD.
Yeah. To also just be waiting on Flywind to get that blink up, the axe, and just get going from there. Like, you went for the Hood of Defiance first. That's a bit more of a defensive item to pick up. It's fairly standard in the laning phase, it's just can't do much with that. LGD will feel safe until they do see some form of a blink on that axe. Super. He's ward denied as soon as it goes down. Now you've got to use up an FY to make matters worse, so he's got his own arrow set up.
Yeah.
It's a rather quick use as well.
Yeah, it's a really good time for that support Mirana. Fairly quick. You're going to see a Eul's coming out on Old 11 fairly soon as well. All the setup in the world to get their stuns out. Have to be really careful with where you want to be here, RNG. Although they do finish up the blink on Flywind, so they've got their own initiation ready to go here on RNG's end.
Wanting to reveal that super. There is a bit of a push going on in this mid lane. Old 11, I believe he used himself up accidentally. Did, since he does not have one. Maelstrom now up as well on Chalice.
Take us.
Plenty of power spikes happening here, and Setsu may not be expecting this. Use up from FY. The arrow as well, but Flywind is now there with the blink call, and A-Shift is out to dodge the spear of Old 11, and they're just going to try and disengage. Super also has the Phoenix to try and turn this. He will commit on Old 11. They get one kill. Now with the Dream Call and the egg being dropped, LGD's in big trouble. They'll lose X-Nova as well as Chalice, and now the poor old Viper Somnus is going to get burned slight by the sun itself. It's a 4-for-1. Flywind the only one to really die in that situation. And it was off the back of that blink call.
Yeah, it's really important for RNG to get that call, and have a way of setting up. We've got ways of counter-playing LGD. It's going to be a bit trickier for LGD to just kind of stop in like that. There is follow-up now from RNG. You've even got a Blade Mail coming out on Setsu, just giving him more stats. And some way of reflecting the damage back to Somnus. The puck is just a bit more tanky with his item pickup. And LGD, they've still got potency here, but they might have to maybe sit back a bit, temperature rush. The puck is not an easy target anymore. Not that you have the back from the axe. Look towards the Ursa while he's vulnerable, or any other target for that matter.
Tetsu could be a bit vulnerable. He's falling quite low here to Chalice. Spear is going to be there and out from old 11. He does go down. Chalice seems like an absolute truck right now on that weaving. You're going to be very wary of that. Arrow flying through. September places a nice Tinker Ward there, and that should allow him to feel safe. But they get the puck.
It's an important kill for LGD. I guess if you throw enough bodies, you can not right through, and well, it is rather slow for Setsu. He doesn't have a blink because of that blade mail build, so not as mobile as you'd expect the puck to be. It is easily punished by LGD.
They're getting off that tier 2 top tower now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
September going to be chased down, but he'll Icarus snipe away. LGD still in control of this game.
Dire's structures are fortified.
They go after that tier 2, but it is lift up now, so they'll lose that creep wave. They might just have to let that go for a bit. Same thing that's happening down the bot lane as well. Flyone just setting up there on the X, just forcing that creep wave in, and he might get a glyph out of this as well. In fact, if they're not glyphing yet, we'll just slowly push it down with that dragon scale damage on top of his auto attacks.
Radiant's bottom tower.
It looks to try and defend this. They go down bot. They did find Super with the arrow from FY, and now, well, Super he's dead. Can't really do much about this on the Bane. We'll just give him a nightmare, and that's it. The rest.
Yeah, it's a great cut for LGD. I mean, they get the tower up top. They find the kill. Keep it fairly even, although. It's still a slight upward lead here for RNG. They're still finding a bit more across the map because they are spread out a bit more. They got the opportunity to farm up on his course. You look at Monet, just about has that BKB. 25 gold left on the recipe. And again, that's a big timer for the Ursa, because he doesn't have to care about this control and damage. You have to be weary about that here if you are LGD.
We go. Smoke is up. LGD rushing straight towards the north of the map. Setsu though will TP out. Flyone will probably be the target. He's the only one showing on the map right now. We'll blink away. They seem to be very well aware of this potential smoke from LGD, and when our old level will basically reveal they were there. And so to counter smoke out from RNG now. They find X-Nova going to TP out. Setsu, do you want a dream coil? X-Nova, he cancels it himself. He goes for a run. He is going to die. That is going to be the dream coil being used up. But now they might go for the right. But maybe pops the information. It's going to be a stun out from FY. The arrow on the puck. Setsu will die again. However, they get on 11. Now the Beatrice is there on Thomas. It does get cancelled, but the egg is out as well. It does pop off. They find another kill. Now Chalice, can they at least get the Weaver? He's the real problem here. Flyone getting a call up there on FY, but he's still making a run for it. Super will die. A dunk out from Flyone, and Chalice, well, he just runs. He doesn't want to stick around too long on that Weaver. It doesn't seem to have a way of holding down Chalice, so he always gets away from these team fights unscathed. But I'm sure RNG will still be very, very happy with the outcome of that fight.
Yeah, it's a great way to reveal that BKB on Monet, just maximizing that value on the first charge quite nicely. They can't transition to the Roche. I guess that's the one thing RNG is missing out on. It's not able to really work their way towards that objective. So the first H's of the game still gonna be up and running, and it's not the it's getting pretty late for a game with an Ursa, but LGD has been fairly good with maintaining control on that side of the river.
Why? You right around September. September trying to dive away, but of course the use cancellation is there. Into the arrow, and that'll be a nice easy pick off. They seem still want to keep up this aggression. Setsu being chased down. And now Arena to be dropped with the speed. Doesn't play Bell out. Setsu still should be able to warp out of it. He does. Very, very close call there.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
RNG. Nice dunk onto X-Nova's courier.
That's always shocking when it happens, you know, you just blink in, take an animal out. It's not very kind, but it's a good amount of gold for RNG still. LGD
Does put the dunk on cooldown though. All fair. So now the Roshan is being taken. He does jump in with the call, does get twitched. No, but he's falling very, very low. He will die. F1 now out of there, and poor old 11 is going to get beans ripped up, and he'll also be down. It's RNG's Roshan now to take, but you've got to be careful about Chalice. He can get vision, he can Takuchi his one in. Paul gonna be there fine when he's on point with it, but there is a BKB up from Chalice. He'll be fine, however, X up in drop. Chalice will focus down that edge. Old level trying as well. And Fly jumps in, they all take it out. Now a 3-man Dream Coil out of there, but it's not gonna mean anything, or maybe it does. Old 7 dies, but Monet's in trouble, and so is Flywood. They were both standing in the Toxin. They both end up going down. Super, he's gonna try TB, but the arrow! It does land from F1, does secure the kill. So now it's back into the Roshan pit for LGD.
And there's no way RNG can really go back in, although Sisu's hanging around, he wants to try.
I don't blame him. Need that ball. X-Nova gonna try and scout this setup for his team. Moonlight Shadow was popped. There is the Aegis. It is already taken. X-Nova's going to continue just chasing Setsu and see if he can get this TP cancellation. And that's a nice ward placement to cancel that TP. Setsu now is just going to be stalked by X-Nova. X-Nova's going to have, or rather Setsu's going to have to take the long way home. They get him out as well. They still know he's there. Chalice guessing he's going to all the right way, and he does. He'll be right though, he will make it up.
It's a scary chase coming out from LGD, but they are really starting to apply that pressure onto RNG. They are maximizing this Viper pick fairly well. I mean, it's bouncing back in for Somnus, working on that BKB, just stand there and fight. And once that's up and running, Viper should be able to have a lot more presence in the engagements. A couple of things for RNG to work on first is that Basher and Monet. You need that control, you need the Abyssal upgrade for mobility because you don't have that blink this game. You're gonna need this build up to just have the ability for the Ursa to just jump in. So with the blink of course it's already fairly good start. The Linken's gives you more capabilities for defense, and that's something that are lacking here for RNG, so having those up and running for the next fight would be great, and they should really just aim to play defensively. They want to fight into that Aegis.
Flywood getting caught. He's going to make a run for it. There's a lot of heroes there from the side of LGD chasing him down. Another unit's going to come out now from old 11, and they commit the arena and the spear. That'll mean it's going to be a very easy kill onto Flywood. Temper, he's in a very awkward position right now. He's just holding that position. It's gonna work out. Nobody's actually gonna guess he's there.
Oh, it's pretty precarious for Phoenix, but yeah, there you go. Gets the TP safely home, and well, LGD look to make their way towards a bot tier 1. That tower has been up far too long. Should be a very easy one to take.
Should be.
Structures are fortified.
Somnus gonna get started. Still holding on to that Aegis on the Viper. Arrow's gonna fly through. September, almost connected. So LGD, T1,
bottom tower
going down. Top lane, Setsu is... What is Setsu doing? Spaceship? Gonna be able to blink out of there. The other way, orb into the tree line with the TP attempt. He should get out of this. God's Rebuke, of course, will not cancel the TP, but what was that?
He was creep cutting?
Sure.
I guess that's...
But he was just kind of standing there AFK, which is the problem.
That was pretty awkward. I'm not sure what's going on, but they don't find the punishment here, LGD. RNG, I guess, in the end, are going to be just fine, as they do still slowly build up. LGD, they've still got that Aegis. Look to really maximize that and work their way towards that in tier 2.
Attack.
Try.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Seems as though RNG just aren't interested at all in trying to take the fight right now.
Is under attack.
Just trying to take farm away from LGD by taking these ancient stacks. And Manet's still trying to work towards that abyssal. In fact, he hasn't even got the bastard up yet.
Been slow going for Monet. He's not been able to play aggressively, and that's one of the big reasons how he snowballed last time. Just the constant aggression. When you go farming like this without a battle fury, it's just not that quick.
Really slow.
Dire's middle
Somnus, that's deny up from Setsu on that tier 2 tower. Does actually deny the gold away from LGD. Now there's a BKB up on Flyman. They really have secured the axe, and it's going to be a lot harder to take out with that BKB now. You won't really be able to break it with that Nether Toxin. You've still got Chalice as an issue though, like he is hitting so hard on this Weaver. But
that he is.
I suppose with the BKB though, you're not really afraid of the Maelstrom procs.
Nah, it does take care of that. And well, Palace's next build should tank him up a bit more though. Is opting for that Scott deal though. TP out.
He's not gonna make it. Sense got Green Coil, and now they just commit everything. Being ripped out from Super to just make sure they end up squashing that bar.
Radiant's top tower is under
It's net worth. I mean, it's been so back and forth that the graphs just look all over the place. Nobody's had anything over a 2k lead this game.
Yeah, so, it's been kept in real good check from both sides, even as an exchange. Right? Like, they finally do take that top tier 1. They're going to try to apply some pressure on the tier 2 top. But you've got LGD in the same spot where they could shove that tier 2 if they wanted to instead.
Are fortified.
Try to, but Lift is forced out. LGD keep pushing in that bottom tier 2 tower.
Radiant's top tower.
RNG will oblige to do the exact same thing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Harrow's actually getting connected on Setsu, but Fly when he's going to jump in onto FY, and Manette going to try and get in there as well, but he really hasn't got much damage on that Ursa right now. They do stun him up. Enrage was there, but he uses him up as well. Manette pops the BKB, he's just going to TP out. He'll make it. But they really are lacking damage on Manette. Like, he is, just feels like he's tickling them to death.
Yeah, it's not up yet, and it's a slow build-up. Like, he's not actually falling behind in farm, it's just that farm's not coming out fast for either sides. It's been slow going for everyone. You're at 14 on Chalice, 13.5 for Monet. Not too big of a difference. One farming particularly fast, so it's been kept in relative check. Does mean that we will be waiting out just a bit more for those offensive items to be up. Setsu does have the Ags, so you have that control and a bit more damage coming out from Setsu, just a bit. Just the control, of course, is the most important bit, so even with that BKB and Somnus has to be pretty careful with that.
They jump in, X-Nova being caught out here. Flyman's there with the call as well. X-Nova has no way out of that scenario. Is it not a matter of the LGD's draft is just going to start dropping off soon?
Yeah.
Like, the Viper doesn't seem to be doing as much. We've taken an argument that he doesn't really drop off too much, especially considering he is going for that Eye of Skadi now. And I believe he does have it up. But there comes a point where that Abyssal Blade's going to be there from Manette. And I I wonder whether he'll be able to survive the initial onslaught.
Radiant's middle tower has
No,
fallen.
it's a big tricky
Coil, mid lane, FY getting caught out there, and he does die.
Radiant's middle tower
Meanwhile, Flywood gets a call off on the Viper. Now the feature is well from Super. It is cancelled with the spear, but they get the dunk off anyway. Double-11 with that arena just trying to zone them out. Challenge trying to bump back up against Setsu. They just can't, however. Monet still chasing down Double-11. Does get stunned up. Will now turn around onto that Weaver. But can they lock him down? With the call they can. Monet though getting speared back by Double-11. It won't be enough. However, they lose Chalice on that Weaver. And now it's Nova's down.
Radiant's middle tower.
And Chalice doesn't have a buyback.
That's
Just put out the Scotty.
Didn't do anything for him that last fight. That's a massive win for RNG. They're gonna take it tier 2. They force out the Fortify. It's gonna buy a little bit of time for LGD, but it's definitely not gonna save this objective as it will just go. They can even go high ground. They're not really tied into cooldowns except for that egg.
Understanding, like, they definitely saw that Iron Scotty out on Chalice, so they know he probably doesn't have that buyback available.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I didn't think I'd be saying this game, John, but RNG are going to take the first raps of the game. Out on Double-11, just holding it down. And, well, Yules is going to be there. Can he orb out in time? He can. They need to punish this LGD, but they just don't seem to be able to keep up.
Yeah, it's starting to be that point where this lineup is tapering off from LGD. Like, you do have a lot of room to grow on that Weaver. The Viper, it's reaching that point where it will taper off until maybe level 25 talent. You get more utility there. That's a second spike for the Viper and gives him a little bit more presence going to the late game, but that's still a ways off from this point. So LGD, they've got to be careful because RNG, I mean, they're pulling ahead.
Up in. Styles is out. Double-11, he's going to be in trouble. It does stop. Dream Call is great for Setsu, but they are focusing down X-Nova first. They do get the kill. Still, the Weaver is trapped there in that Dream Coil, but they see the buyback out from X-Nova. They don't keep contesting this. Blink out, Egg drop, Flywood, he got back in with the call now. Channel's trying to burst down the egg, but the Beans grip is there from Super. It's not going to be enough to burst down the egg in time. Now he comes back out with the Sun Ray. Back off to Softness. That Viper's in trouble. He does go down. Still, it looked like they will find a trade on Monet, but he'll buy back immediately. Another nightmare out from Super. Chalice gonna keep chasing down September, it seems. He might have to just sit off the Super instead, but everyone is just running away from him. Setsu, still there. He's 7 seconds away from having Dream Coil back up. That's how long the team fight's been going. They'll go back in FY with the arrow. It's not enough. Now Monet's back in. They have Dream Coil back up as well. That means FY is almost certainly just going to die here. The dunk, not going to be necessary. They'll just call him up, and now X-Nova just spawned back. That's not what you want if you're LGD. But that is how the cookie crumbles.
Roche responds in the middle of that, so they go straight into the
Dream Coil. Mid lane, catching out Chalice. That's just holding him down. Buyback is there from FY. So it's the only buyback they have left. Super, Nightmare is going to be there on Double-11. He's going to be in trouble again. He pops his BKB, holds his shield up. Is it going to be enough though? Arrow from FY, looking towards the Super, and now the arena and speed being committed on Monet. But Setsu will not leave this Mars alone. He'll keep chasing him down. Meanwhile, Monet, however, Flywood, he comes in for the call onto Chalice, and Monet, he wants out of here. He's trying to TP. FY though, he can't solve that TP with the arrow, and now here comes Setsu again. They're back onto Chalice. Chalice will time the Weaver. And FY is ticking down here to Setsu, and now the Egg's going to be dropped.
Oh, man.
And Somnus can't do anything about it. He's going to go down. They're all dead with no buyback.
RNG, they just turn around from that rush fight, and it looked rocky when Monet just wanted to bail. But the arrow helped. The arrow gave them those kills. Monet just cleaned up.
Oh boy. Tables have turned. Suddenly an 11k net worth lead for RNG. It was even the whole game. And after a couple team fights, they've got an 11k net worth lead. And I'm scared to look at Dota Plus, but it's saying 86%. the way of RNG all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's that point where it swings way. I mean, Viper is really just kind of dead here. Like, he can go in, he can try with another toxin, try to be immense, but RNG just has everything to counteract it. You don't have enough already in. You've got that Lotus Orb up and running on Setsu, so Lincoln Sphere up and running on Setsu, so he's going to be harder to pin down now on that puck, and they're just in position to really start knocking on the high ground below. They've got to take care of these tier 2s first.
That they will. Oh, Spell Prism now up on Setsu as well. I mean, come on, how it's just amazing on the park. Like, if there's one hero that really enjoys that Spell Prism, it's the park. You're gonna have a fun time with that one.
Oh yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
It's been
8 seconds cooldown.
I mean, we've seen so many fights where he's had 2 green coils and already. It's like it's gonna be so much more consistent to have 2 dream coils up and running in these engagements.
Shit, why not have 3? Screw it. Just throw a third one in there.
Oh, I love his build as well. Like, look at that, Dagon's coming out for 7.
Away, green call out. FY gonna get caught there. Will break the leash, but he had the Ooze up. He's been silenced now. Gonna purge that off with the Guardian Greaves. RNG just gonna take the back foot. There is an Arcane Rune down bot power rune spots. They might just go and secure that for Setsu. And after he's got that done, I can only imagine what his cooldown's gonna look like.
It's gonna look pretty nice, I think. At the least,
how many Dream Coils could he get out now? Like, with an Arcane Rune active with the Spell Prism, a Princess Knight as well, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's it's perfect.
Kind of nice.
Oh,
give
man.
that over to September.
I mean, LGD right now. Take a look at Chalice. He's queuing up with Divine. He needs it.
Yeah.
But can he? He just doesn't have space to farm that up anymore. They do smoke up though.
Okay, but we're trying to secure some farm, and Chalice is a long way off that Divine for now. They'll just try and get some keyword down, get some farm going. They understand how far behind they are. However, the counter smoke coming in from RNG, and they know exactly where LGD are. Moonlight Shadow was popped, and this should allow LGD to just avoid any form of a team fight. And, well, they'll take the outpost back. It's like FY was racing to try and get the other outpost. Super meanwhile, let's see Old 11 there. They Dream Coil, they do get the Mars. Marina has been dropped, but he is definitely dead here. So they commit the Fiend's Grip. That Mars is going to be gone for another 70. But he does have buyback gold just in case.
What does accelerate mode is progression towards the Abyssal though. 300 off from his last component, and once that's up, he's going to have his initiation. Like, that is it. The Fuzzy Wuzzy can just jump in, get the control off, and find the lockdown and damage instantly on any hero.
Here we go again, RNG. Hitting down that bot racks area. We'll go through the T3, but be too hard.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Gonna miss. But the blood loss is gonna make it a bit painful here. Especially if this tier 3 tower. Yes. It's, I mean, they're pretty tanky in all fairness. On the side of RNG, doesn't seem to be affecting them too much. Now Setsu, he'll jump in. Dream Coil is there. He gets 2 people in it, and he's just using it to hold them back. He wants to secure the racks and just get his team out of there.
Dire structures are fortified.
They get the tier 3, and they get halfway through that melee barracks. Flyone, barely going to dodge out that arrow.
Under attack.
Meanwhile, Chalice is still just trying to farm up the Divine. He needs about 1.8k gold to have that completed. The Aegis also expires now, so Monet won't have that safety net. And this should almost guarantee Chalice gets the Divine Rapier up.
Yeah, it's gonna give enough space to LGD to finish that item up. and Chalice's damage shoots up through the roof. But the question is, can he survive? Now, based on how the previous engagement, I'd wager no. He's gonna have to really be careful with how far forward he plays on this Weaver once he has that Divine up. Once it drops, that's the GG basically.
They don't have a blade mail on Flywind either. Like, you'd love to have a blade mail right now if you're Flywind, just to be able to pop it open, or just turn it on when you get a call on. Still, LGD, they're just gonna hold this high ground for themselves, because you are also gonna have that level 25 timing on Chalice, and you'll probably go for the +1 Germinate attack, considering you're gonna have a Divine. You know, it's probably quite valuable on that Weaver. Could also get the Sakuchi speed though.
Yeah, he does end up going for the speed, just to have a free slot. He can dump his treads at some point for more items and just really build big on the Weaver.
He can already dump the treads. There's no reason to have them if he needs the space, but I don't think he can afford anything else. Smoke up. No smoke up. I'm hearing things. Oh no, it was the ninja gear. Of course it was. There we are.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah, that does give Chalice some room to walk around. I mean, it's just working his way to top, putting himself near that secret shop, that Divine. It's almost there, 200 gold, and that's the point where LGD can be much more confident in their high ground defense, much more confident in the fights. Team RNG just playing patiently, waiting around high ground. There's a nice sport to spot them though, so no one was going to bite that bait. He just end up wasting a bit of time there.
You got the blade mail up on Flywind as well, by the way. He just went and bought one, seemingly realizing what's going on here. To go after X-Nova, but the Moonlight Shadow will protect him. Both teams, of course, waiting for the next Roshan, but we've got at least 20 seconds till that's up, and now there's that Divine Rapier. Chalice will, we'll see how he plays with this.
Yeah, it's a ton of damage whenever his Geminate's up. So you can melt through some of these heroes, just again, have to be careful about being caught out by the Axe, by the Bane.
Is there a visual bug on that Weaver, John? I don't see, like, the damage output doesn't seem right for a Divine Rapier. Never mind that. Arrow is on the Flywind. Drainer of Blood is there. Now the Spear as well. A great dream call out from Sensu. He's going to try and fight back, but there's a Divine up right now. They're going to jump in anyway. Adrian to stand on to Somnus. He's in trouble. He'll die. Now the call Flywind. Doesn't get Chalice. The Divine is on the deck. It came just 30 seconds ago.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's it? Ugh, man. RNG. Steam. Just clean. Dominant 2 games, Mike. Just, we thought it would be closer. But RNG, they just play calm and just maintain their lead.